Every 19 seconds, somewhere in the world, a woman hears the words no one ever wants to hear. You have breast cancer. It's a diagnosis that reshapes lives, altering routines, relationships, and futures in an instant. But what if I told you that your kitchen might hold more power than you realize? That the choices you make at the grocery store, the meals you prepare each evening, could be quietly shaping your body's defenses against this disease? For decades, we've focused on early detection. Mammograms, genetic testing, vigilant self-exams, and rightly so. But in recent years, a quieter revolution has been unfolding in oncology, nutrition science, and preventive medicine. Researchers are uncovering something profound. Diet isn't just about weight or energy. It's a biological conversation between your cells and your environment. And certain foods, they speak the language of protection. I'm Dr. Elena Martinez, a board-certified oncologist and researcher with over 20 years of experience in cancer prevention. Today, I'm not here to sell you a miracle cure or a fad diet. I'm here to share what the science actually says, what peer-reviewed studies, large-scale epidemiological trials, and molecular biology have revealed about the foods that may significantly lower your risk of developing breast cancer. Now, before we dive into the list, let me be clear. No single food is a silver bullet. Breast cancer is complex, shaped by genetics, hormones, environmental exposures, and yes, lifestyle. But mounting evidence shows that dietary patterns rich in specific nutrients, phytochemicals, and anti-inflammatory compounds can tip the scales in your favor. In fact, the World Cancer Research Fund estimates that up to 30% of breast cancer cases could be prevented through modifiable lifestyle factors, including diet. So what are these foods? And more importantly, why do they work? Over the next hour, we'll explore 10 foods that leading oncologists and nutritional scientists consistently highlight in their clinical recommendations. Each one has been studied not just in test tubes or petri dishes, but in human populations across continents over decades. And each one tells a story, not just of flavor or tradition, but of cellular resilience. But first, let's talk about what breast cancer actually is, because understanding the enemy is the first step toward outsmarting it. Breast cancer begins when cells in the breast tissue start to grow uncontrollably. These abnormal cells can form tumors, invade nearby tissue, and, in advanced cases, spread to other parts of the body. While some risk factors like age, family history, or BRCA gene mutations are beyond our control, others are deeply intertwined with how we live. And among those, diet plays a starring role. Why? Because food influences 3 critical biological pathways: inflammation, estrogen metabolism, and oxidative stress. Chronic inflammation creates a fertile ground for cancer cells to thrive. Certain forms of estrogen can fuel the growth of hormone receptor-positive breast cancers, the most common type. And oxidative stress damages DNA, potentially triggering mutations that lead to malignancy. The good news: nature has equipped certain plants and whole foods with compounds that directly counteract these processes. They don't just nourish you, they defend you. Now let's meet the first of our 10 dietary allies. 1. Cruciferous vegetables. The estrogen modulators. Picture a plate of steamed broccoli, a crisp kale salad, or roasted Brussels sprouts caramelized at the edges. These aren't just side dishes, they're biochemical powerhouses. Collectively known as cruciferous vegetables, this family includes broccoli, cauliflower, kale, cabbage, bok choy, and arugula. And their secret weapon: a compound called sulforaphane, and its precursor, glucosinolates. When you chew or chop these vegetables, an enzyme called myrosinase converts glucosinolates into active compounds like sulforaphane and indole 3-carbinol, I3C. These molecules do something remarkable. They help your body metabolize estrogen into safer, less carcinogenic forms. Here's how it works. Your liver processes estrogen through 2 main pathways. One produces 2-hydroxyestrone, a good metabolite that doesn't stimulate breast tissue. The other produces 16-alpha-hydroxyestrone, a bad form that binds strongly to estrogen receptors and may promote tumor growth. Cruciferous vegetables shift the balance toward the protective 2 pathway. A landmark study published in Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention followed over 6,000 women for more than a decade. Those who consumed cruciferous vegetables at least 5 times per week had a 20% lower risk of developing breast cancer compared to those who ate them less than once a week. Even more compelling, among women with BRCA mutations, a high-risk group, the protective effect was even stronger. But here's the catch. Cooking destroys myrosinase. So to maximize sulforaphane production, lightly steam your broccoli for no more than 3 to 4 minutes, or eat it raw in salads. Better yet, add a pinch of mustard seed powder to cooked crucifers. It contains the enzyme needed to activate those precious glucosinolates. This isn't just theory. In clinical trials, women who drank broccoli sprout extract showed measurable shifts in estrogen metabolism within weeks. Their bodies began producing more of the protective metabolites, proof that food can literally reprogram your biochemistry. 2. Flaxseeds, the lignin powerhouse. Next, let's talk about a tiny seed with an outsized impact. The flaxseed. Often overlooked, flaxseeds are the richest dietary source of lignans, a type of polyphenol that acts as a phytoestrogen. Now that word might raise eyebrows. Phytoestrogen. Doesn't that mean it mimics estrogen? And isn't estrogen linked to breast cancer? But here's where nuance matters. Phytoestrogens are not the same as human estrogen. They're weaker, plant-based compounds that can actually block stronger estrogens from binding to receptors in breast tissue. Think of them as decoys, occupying the receptor sites so that more potent, cancer-promoting estrogens can't get a foothold. Flax seeds contain up to 800 times more lignans than any other plant food. And when gut bacteria metabolize these lignans, they produce enterolactone and enterodiol, compounds that have been shown in lab studies to slow the growth of breast cancer cells and even induce apoptosis, or programmed cell death. In a randomized controlled trial conducted at the University of Toronto, postmenopausal women diagnosed with breast cancer were given either 25 grams of ground flaxseed or a placebo daily for 32 to 39 days before surgery. The flaxseed group showed significantly reduced tumor cell proliferation and increased cancer cell death. Their tumors were literally less aggressive. Epidemiological data backs this up. A meta-analysis of 10 studies involving over 28,000 women found that higher lignin intake was associated with a 15 to 20% reduction in breast cancer risk, especially in postmenopausal women. But to unlock these benefits, you must grind your flax seeds. Whole flax passes through your digestive tract undigested. Just 2 tablespoons of freshly ground flaxseed per day, sprinkled on oatmeal, blended into smoothies, or stirred into yogurt, can deliver a potent dose of protection. And don't worry about the fat content. Flax seeds are also rich in alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid with anti-inflammatory properties. It's a triple threat: lignans, fiber, and healthy fats, all in one humble seed. 3. Berries. The antioxidant arsenal. Now let's shift to color. Deep blues, vibrant reds, rich purples. These aren't just beautiful hues. They're signals of powerful antioxidants called anthocyanins and ellagic acid, abundant in berries like blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries. Oxidative stress, the damage caused by free radicals, is a key driver of DNA mutations that can lead to cancer. Antioxidants neutralize these free radicals, acting like molecular bodyguards for your cells. But berries go further. Ellagic acid doesn't just scavenge free radicals. It also inhibits an enzyme called aromatase, which converts androgens into estrogen. Less aromatase means less estrogen circulating in the body, critical for hormone-sensitive breast cancers. In laboratory studies, berry extracts have been shown to suppress the growth of breast cancer cells by up to 70%. Human trials are more complex, but population studies tell a consistent story. The Nurses' Health Study, which has tracked over 120,000 women since 1976, found that women who ate 3 or more servings of berries per week had a significantly lower risk of developing estrogen receptor-negative breast cancer, a more aggressive subtype. Berries also support gut health. Their fiber feeds beneficial bacteria, which in turn produce short-chain fatty acids that reduce systemic inflammation. And because they're low on the glycemic index, they help stabilize blood sugar, another factor linked to cancer risk. High insulin levels can stimulate growth pathways in cancer cells. Berries help keep those pathways quiet. So go beyond the occasional smoothie. Keep frozen berries on hand for year-round access. Add them to salads, oatmeal, or even savory dishes like grain bowls. Their sweetness isn't just a treat, it's a tactical defense. 4. Fatty fish. The omega-3 shield. Let's move from land to sea. Fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and herring are among the richest sources of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid, and DHA, docosahexaenoic acid. These aren't just good for your heart, they're potent anti-inflammatory agents that may directly influence breast cancer risk. Chronic inflammation is like a smoldering fire in the body. It creates an environment where damaged cells are more likely to survive, multiply, and evade immune detection. Omega-3s help douse that fire. They reduce the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines and prostaglandins, molecules that can promote tumor growth and angiogenesis, the formation of new blood vessels that feed tumors. A 2020 meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Cancer reviewed data from 21 studies involving over 800,000 women. Those with the highest intake of marine omega-3s had a 14% lower risk of breast cancer compared to those with the lowest intake. The effect was strongest in premenopausal women, suggesting that timing matters. But not all fats are equal. While omega-3s protect, omega-6 fatty acids, abundant in processed vegetable oils, can promote inflammation when consumed in excess. The ideal ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 should be around 4:1 or lower. Yet the typical Western diet hovers around 15:1 or higher. By eating fatty fish 2 to 3 times per week, you help restore that balance. And don't rely solely on supplements. Whole fish provides not just omega-3s, but also vitamin D, selenium, and high-quality protein, all of which support immune function and cellular repair. Wild-caught salmon, in particular, contains astaxanthin, a carotenoid with its own anti-cancer properties. If you're vegetarian or vegan, algae-based DHA supplements can offer a plant-derived alternative, but for most people, incorporating fatty fish remains the gold standard. 5. Turmeric, the golden anti-inflammatory. Now, let's talk about a spice so potent, it's been used in traditional medicine for over 4,000 years. Turmeric. Its active compound, curcumin, is one of the most extensively studied natural substances in cancer research. Curcumin works on multiple fronts. It inhibits NF-κB, a master switch that turns on inflammation and cell survival pathways in cancer. It down-regulates COX-2, an enzyme linked to tumor progression. And it interferes with signaling molecules like HER2, which is overexpressed in 20 to 25% of breast cancers. In lab studies, curcumin has been shown to sensitize resistant breast cancer cells to chemotherapy and even reverse multi-drug resistance. But here's the challenge. Curcumin is poorly absorbed by the body. On its own, very little reaches the bloodstream. The solution? Combine it with black pepper. Piperine, a compound in black pepper, increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. And pair it with healthy fats, like olive oil or coconut milk, to further enhance bioavailability. Population data supports its use. In India, where turmeric is consumed daily in curries, breast cancer rates are significantly lower than in Western countries, even after adjusting for other factors. While correlation isn't causation, clinical trials are promising. A pilot study at the University of Texas found that women with precancerous breast lesions who took curcumin supplements showed reduced lesion size and improved biomarkers. You don't need supplements to benefit. Add a teaspoon of turmeric to soups, stews, rice dishes, or golden milk. Just remember, heat, fat, and pepper are your allies in unlocking its power. 6. Green tea, the catechin catalyst. Next, a beverage steeped in both tradition and science. Green tea. Unlike black tea, which is fermented, green tea is steamed shortly after harvest, preserving high levels of catechins, particularly epigallocatechin gallate, EGCG. EGCG is a molecular multitasker. It scavenges free radicals, inhibits tumor angiogenesis, and induces apoptosis in cancer cells. It also modulates estrogen metabolism, similar to cruciferous vegetables, by promoting the 2-hydroxyestrone pathway. In Japan, where green tea consumption is high, studies have consistently shown an inverse relationship between tea intake and breast cancer risk. One large study of over 50,000 Japanese women found that those who drank 5 or more cups of green tea per day had a 22% lower risk of recurrence after breast cancer diagnosis. But brewing matters. To extract maximum EGCG, steep your tea in water just below boiling, around 175 degrees Fahrenheit or 80 degrees Celsius, for 2 to 3 minutes. Overheating or oversteeping can make it bitter and degrade the catechins. And while supplements exist, whole green tea offers a symphony of compounds that work synergistically. Matcha powdered green tea delivers even higher concentrations as you consume the entire leaf. Just be mindful of timing. Don't drink it with meals high in iron, as catechins can inhibit iron absorption. And if you're sensitive to caffeine, opt for decaffeinated versions, though note that decaf may have slightly lower catechin levels. 7. Extra virgin olive oil. The Mediterranean secret. Now, let's travel to the Mediterranean coast, where breast cancer rates are among the lowest in the world. Researchers have long attributed this to the Mediterranean diet, and at its heart lies extra virgin olive oil, EVOO. Unlike refined oils, EVOO is cold-pressed, preserving its rich array of polyphenol, especially oleocanthal and hydroxytyrosol. Oleocanthal has been shown in lab studies to kill cancer cells within 30 minutes, without harming healthy cells. It does this by rupturing lysosomes, the recycling centers of cancer cells, causing them to self-destruct. The PRIDIME trial, one of the largest dietary intervention studies ever conducted, followed over 4,000 women for 5 years. Those assigned to a Mediterranean diet supplemented with at least 4 tablespoons of EVOO per day had a 68% lower risk of developing breast cancer compared to the control group. EVOO also improves insulin sensitivity and reduces inflammation. Its monounsaturated fats help lower LDL cholesterol while raising HDL, supporting overall metabolic health, which in turn lowers cancer risk. But not all olive oil is equal. Look for extra virgin on the label, stored in dark glass bottles, with a harvest date. Avoid light or pure olive oil. They're heavily processed and lack the protective compounds. Use it raw in dressings, drizzle it over roasted vegetables, or finish soups with a swirl. Heat it gently, but never to smoking point, as that degrades its beneficial phenols. 8. Legumes. The fiber and phytochemical duo. Beans, lentils, chickpeas. These humble legumes are nutritional powerhouses often underutilized in Western diets. They're rich in fiber, resistant starch, and phytoestrogens like isoflavones and comestins. Fiber is crucial. It binds to excess estrogen in the gut and helps eliminate it through bowel movements, reducing the total estrogen load in the body. Women with high fiber diets tend to have lower circulating estrogen levels, especially after menopause. A study in the International Journal of Cancer found that for every 10 grams of fiber consumed daily, breast cancer risk dropped by 7%. Legumes are among the best sources. Just 1 cup of lentils provides 15 grams. Legumes also stabilize blood sugar, preventing insulin spikes that can fuel cancer growth. And their resistant starch feeds beneficial gut bacteria, which produce butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that suppresses inflammation and may directly inhibit tumor formation. Don't fear the phytoestrogens in legumes. Like flaxseeds, they act as selective estrogen receptor modulators, blocking stronger estrogens when needed, but providing mild estrogenic support when levels are too low, as in menopause. Aim for at least 3 servings of legumes per week. Add them to soups, salads, or make hummus from scratch. Your gut and your breast tissue will thank you. 9. Walnuts. The polyphenol package. Nuts are often seen as calorie-dense snacks, but walnuts stand apart. They contain a unique combination of omega-3 ALA, melatonin, ellagic acid, and polyphenol, all of which converge on anti-cancer pathways. In a groundbreaking study at Marshall University, mice genetically predisposed to breast cancer were fed a diet containing the human equivalent of 2 ounces of walnuts per day. After 14 weeks, they developed half as many tumors. And the tumors they did develop were smaller and less aggressive. Why? Walnuts altered the expression of multiple genes involved in cancer proliferation and inflammation. They also improved gut microbiome diversity, which is increasingly linked to immune surveillance against cancer. Human data is emerging. The Walnut and Healthy Aging study found that older adults who consumed walnuts daily showed reduced levels of inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein. Just a small handful, about 7 walnuts, provides a full day's worth of plant-based omega-3s and a spectrum of protective compounds. Store them in the fridge to prevent rancidity, and enjoy them raw to preserve their nutrients. 10. Garlic and allium vegetables. The sulfur sentinels. Finally, we come to the pungent protector. Garlic, along with its relatives, onions, leeks, and shallots. These allium vegetables contain organosulfur compounds like allicin and diallyl disulfide, formed when the cells are crushed or chopped. These compounds enhance the body's detoxification enzymes, helping eliminate carcinogens before they damage DNA. They also inhibit histone deacetylase, an enzyme that cancer cells use to silence tumor suppressor genes. Population studies are compelling. A meta-analysis in Asian Pacific Journal of Cancer Prevention found that high garlic consumption was associated with a 22% lower risk of breast cancer. The effect was even stronger when combined with onions. Let garlic sit for 10 minutes after chopping before cooking. This allows allicin to fully form. And don't shy away from raw garlic in dressings or salsas. It's the most potent form. The bigger picture. Synergy over supplements. Now you might be wondering, should I take supplements of these compounds instead? The answer, based on current evidence, is no. Time and again, isolated nutrients in pill form have failed to replicate the benefits of whole foods. Beta-carotene supplements increased lung cancer risk in smokers. High-dose vitamin E showed no benefit and possible harm in large trials. Why? Because food is a symphony. Sulforaphane works better with vitamin C. Curcumin needs piperine. Fiber enhances the action of phytoestrogens. These compounds evolve together in plants, and our bodies evolve to process them as a team. The goal isn't perfection, it's pattern. A diet rich in colorful vegetables, healthy fats, legumes, and spices, like the Mediterranean or traditional Asian diets, creates a biological environment where cancer struggles to take root. And remember, food is just one piece. Pair it with regular exercise, limited alcohol, maintaining a healthy weight, and avoiding tobacco. Together, these choices form a shield, not guaranteed, but significantly stronger. Final thoughts. Breast cancer may be common, but it is not inevitable. Every meal is an opportunity, an invitation to nourish not just your appetite, but your cellular defenses. The 10 foods we've explored today aren't exotic or expensive. They're accessible, familiar, and deeply rooted in culinary traditions across the globe. As a doctor, I've sat across from too many women who asked, "What could I have done differently?" My hope is that this knowledge empowers you, not with fear but with agency. You are not powerless. Your fork is a tool of prevention. So the next time you stand in your kitchen, consider this. You're not just preparing dinner. You're crafting a legacy of health. For yourself, your daughters, your community. Because in the quiet rhythm of chopping vegetables, brewing tea, or sprinkling flax seeds on your morning bowl, you're participating in one of the oldest and most powerful forms of medicine. And that, my friends, is a story worth telling.